Sight for White newsletter Spring 2024, your local sight loss charity. Spotlight on Brett, meet volunteer Francis, member activities, access and other cards, fundraising activities, Dress for Less, plus much more. Address Millbrook House, 137 Carisbrooke Road, Newport, PO30 1DD, charity number 1149415, company number 6240404. Front cover shows a photograph of our volunteer Francis in our Millbrook House garden.
Welcome everyone to our spring newsletter. As usual, I'm amazed by the amount of information that it contains. Firstly, I would like to thank all those wonderful knitters and businesses that have made our incredible fundraiser, the Knitted Easter Egg Animal Covers, such a success. Please check out our future campaigns for raising donations, as a charity, we depend on them. I should also mention Sharfleet Primary School, whose children have recently raised the astonishing amount of £950 for us. Also, don't forget to visit Dress for Less, our ongoing fundraiser. The staff provide such interesting updates of all their work. They achieve so much. Our CEO, Lisa, belongs to many outside organisations to promote and lobby for the needs of all our members. And because of our higher profile, we have been asked to take part in various research projects. In an RNIB survey, White Sense is one of only 6 organisations in the country to meet every deadline in fulfilling their statutory responsibilities. At the moment, there is no universal disability ID card available, but we provide the White Sense Paris registration card, your legal proof of registration. There is also a very useful list of access cards and explanations of what is available. The Fit bus, or rather the Freshwater, Yarmouth and Totland bus, provides such a useful service, and their route maps are very helpful. Don't forget, they also provide door-to-door transport for medical appointments and also have wheelchair access. My thanks, as always, to our incredible volunteers, the staff and trustees. We couldn't provide so much to so many people without you.
This is Lisa reading the CEO update. Well, finally, as I write this, it is not raining for what feels like months. The sun is finally shining and I can feel the warmth of the sun without any wind. Our newsletter this quarter contains information on the Fit, that's FYT bus in West White, which offers door-to-door transport for medical appointments as well as the local weekday routes. One of our members uses it to go swimming at West White Pool. Finding it is a real benefit. We have a few save the dates too. The Volunteer and Member Open Day on the 29th of July at Millbrook House, Eye on Social Days and our Christmas lunch on the 29th of November at the Isle of Wight College restaurant. Our annual Low Vision and Low Hearing Community Day is on the 24th of September. At this Community Day, being held at the Riverside Centre this year, we hope as many current members as possible can attend, as this year we have a separate coffee and chat room set aside to give people the chance to meet and chat. We have been invited to do several research projects recently, notably our Raising Voices in Research project, at which members gathered and spoke directly to the local ICB, that's the NHS, to give their personal feedback on surveys already in circulation. As a result, we were picked as only one of 3 headline speeches at the final event. We have now been asked for further research help, which will set to have a real impact on how new policies are set. These are fire risk in the home and cancer treatment. Both projects want to hear directly from our members on what can change to ensure our specific needs are thought about and met. Further details are in this newsletter. Thank you, Lisa.
Members activities. Weekly. By appointment, we have Sam on hand to give one-to-one help with accessibility features on your computer, laptop, tablet or phone. It is essential you pre-book, so please call ahead. Please note, we will help as much as we can, but if you are looking for lessons on how to use a computer, then please contact us for Age UK course dates.
Monday, swimming at Medina Leisure Centre, Newport, term time only, between 1:15pm and 2:15pm. The cost is £6 and £2.50 local transport, Newport area, but £3.50 for wider transport, i.e. ride area.
Tuesday, yoga at Millbrook House, between 1:45pm and 2:45pm. Come along and try gentle yoga, just £4, which includes refreshments.
Wednesday, coffee and chat at Millbrook House between 10am and 11:30am. All are welcome to join us for coffee and cake. The cost is £2 and the group is open to everyone. We have regular visitors to this group, for example the ECLO, the Macular Society and many others, so please call Susan for more information.
Thursday, mix and mingle at Millbrook House, between 10:30am and 2pm. Planned activities include crafts, quizzes and entertainment. The cost is £4 plus £3.50 for transport if required. Pre-booking is essential.
Sight for White's next members feedback and chat is Wednesday the 26th of June at 11:30am and the White Sense meeting is the week before on the 19th.
Fortnightly tennis is held at Ryde Mead Tennis Club on a Monday between 9:30am and 10:30am. The club is behind Yalf's in Church Lane, Ryde. Volunteers of the club are on hand to assist. This is weather dependent.
Monthly groups. First Tuesday of the month, God's Hill Coffee Morning, 10:30am to 12pm, held at the Old Smithy Coffee Shop, God's Hill. Volunteers Yvonne and Linda will be on hand to chat every month.
First Thursday of the month, audio book group held at the Lord Louis Library, Newport, between 2pm and 3pm. This group is free to attend. You will receive a digital copy, USB stick or CD, and the group will discuss the book at the following meeting.
Second Tuesday of the month, Our Place Community Cafe at West White Sports Centre, Moa Place, Freshwater, 10:30am. A member of staff will always be there.
Second Friday of the month, Walk and Talk group, as an alternative to Striders, involves a walk of around 2 miles. For more details, please call Susan.
Ion Social will be held once a month. Our next meeting of 2024 is on Tuesday the 23rd of April. The group is open to everyone, members, volunteers and friends, so please come along and support us. For details on the next 2 meetings, see Save the Date, but please call to book as places are limited on all external visits. The cost is £3, which includes refreshments.
Fourth Thursday of the month, Our Place in Ventnor at St Catherine's Church, between 10:30am and 1:30pm. A member of staff will be on hand.
Last Friday of the month, Striders is for members who enjoy walking. The walk is normally between 4 and 6 miles, depending on the route and location. The cost is £4 plus £3.50 for transport.
Last Sunday of the month, golf at Westridge Golf Centre, Ryde. Members enjoy 45 minutes on the driving range with a professional instructor available to help the complete novice. To those playing regularly, it is usually the last Sunday of the month, but always call the office to confirm. Activities do get booked up, so please do not hesitate to call us to book your place. Where possible, we provide transport, subject to numbers and vehicle availability. If you have any suggestions for an activity, please do come forward and let us know so we can endeavour to accommodate when we can. Or if you wish to volunteer to help others, again, do not hesitate to contact us on 522205. Following on from our questionnaire, we now have our new art classes running on the second Wednesday of the month. The lessons are held at the Parkland Centre, Park Road, Cowes, between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. The cost is £10, which also includes all materials. Maddie, the tutor, is also VI and is a fantastic teacher. It was amazing to see the artwork produced on the first lesson in March. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed it and found it very relaxing. Please call to book your place on the next meeting. This activity was so thoroughly enjoyed by members who attended. Further announcements will be made via our website, Talking News newsletters of any one-off activities or events. Susan.
Save the date and pre-book. Ion Social, May to July dates. Our May meeting is on the 21st and will be a lunch at the Isle of Wight College restaurant. Spaces are limited, so booking is essential. Everyone is welcome, members, friends, families and volunteers alike. This really is a chance to catch up with friends, both new and old. We will provide transport as far as possible. Our June activity will be at Mottiston Manor Gardens.
Members and Volunteers Open Day. On 29th of July here at Millbrook House, we will be hosting an open day for all our members and volunteers alike. Without our volunteers, we would not be able to do anywhere near the level of activities and services we do. So, this is a thank you to volunteers, but equally a warm welcome to all members to come and meet more volunteers and hear about everything we do, with a short presentation of our year on the 31st of March 2024, as we hold our AGM for guarantor members on the same day.
Community Open Day. On the 24th of September, we will be holding our annual Low Vision and Low Hearing Community Day at the Riverside Centre. We have invited a broad range of organisations to attend, including craft, cultural and sporting activities, equipment suppliers, transport suppliers, all to cover your physical and mental well-being. We would really like as many current members to attend as possible, as we have hired a separate room for coffee and chat to give new people the chance to meet current members who can offer such valuable peer-to-peer support.
Volunteer Update. We welcome our new volunteers to this latest newsletter and thank you for choosing our charity to volunteer for. We really appreciate your time and support. Wow, what an amazing few months we have had, and I must thank all our wonderful volunteers who have given their time, support and help across many activities and events we have held. Our volunteers help with travel, groups, schools, Talking News, Dress for Less, fundraising. The list is endless, and without them we would not be able to provide our valuable services to so many people. It was wonderful to see so many of you at our recent volunteers catch-up morning at Millbrook House. This is always a great opportunity for our volunteers to get together and chat, and a fantastic opportunity for us to say thank you for everything. Debbie at our dress agency, Dress for Less, has got vacancies for new volunteers. The role is varied, and Debbie says, "We are always looking for ladies who have a love of clothes, no necessary experience, just a positive passion for fashion. Hours are flexible to suit your needs, as they are with all our roles. If you are able to help, please contact me." Susan, volunteer.
This is Lisa reading the article Southern Vectors. We know that unhelpful comments from drivers like, "I will tell you when we get to Wellow, if I remember," can easily result in people not wanting to use buses and therefore getting out and about less than they want to or need to. We're working with Southern Vectors to improve travel experiences for people living with a visual impairment. We are assured that all drivers have national training on how to help VI and HI people, and that this training is annual and compulsory, but the sad fact is things still go wrong. We are therefore asking you to report any negative and indeed positive experiences to us as often as they happen. We will then report them to Southern Vectors. Of course, you can report them directly too. We want to build a real, true picture of what the service is really like, and we need all of your input to do this. Without times, dates and quotes, Southern Vectors won't take action. I have already put forward some training ideas to Simon, the accessibility officer at Southern Vectors, including how disorientating it is if the bus does not follow its normal route, what it feels like when you're faced with comments as above, and how to spot somebody who has a visual impairment. We don't all carry white sticks or have dogs. If members could please report back anything and everything to us, we can try to move this forward with time and dated evidence as to why it is needed. In reports, you can either email or call. Noting if you call after 5 p.m, our answering machine will kick in and you can leave a message and we'll pick the details up tomorrow. Thank you, Lisa.
Tips for members. I brought one of these and cannot believe how I coped without it. It is called an Opticoaster and has a luminous yellow circle with a black base where you put your cup safely and securely. It doesn't slip, provides contrast and has tactile arrows. It fits all my different cups, including Best Gran, Edwina from Newport. White Sense introduced me to Tactimark. It is a liquid plastic and you use it like bump-ons to mark things. Once you've marked it, let it dry and it is there as a tactile marker. It works on clothes, paper, metals and plastic. Lisa from Wellow. A tip that may help pet owners like me, I have put a bell on my dog's collar so that I can work out where my dog is in the house by listening for the bell. Gary from Ventnor. If you have any tips to include in our newsletter, please let us know.
Hearing pager system. In this article, I thought I would concentrate on a specific piece of equipment called a pager system. I've been asked about it a few times now. The pager system can alert to several transmitters such as front doorbell ring, smoke alarm activation, telephone ring, alarm clock, baby monitor, person-to-person call button, pressure mat to alert when someone gets out of bed. Each of these transmitters can all be paired with a receiver or several receivers, such as a pager, portable receiver, or an alarm clock receiver. The pager and portable receiver can have a vibrating pad connected to them. However, depending on the need of the person, they are generally used to alert a person during the day. The alarm clock receiver is an alarm clock but will also alert to a transmitter activation through the night via a vibrating pad that goes under your pillow. As part of our assessment process, we will evaluate your individual needs and offer a system that meets them. The clock and portable receiver can alert in 3 ways, using vibration, sound, or flashing light, with the pager only using vibration. People can select how they wish to be alerted. For nighttime, vibration is the most effective. During the day, the sound and/or flash might be more useful, although some people may still need vibration. This means the pager would be the most effective if it is carried on the person, in a pocket or attached to clothing perhaps. Each receiver also incorporates a visual display that lets the user know which transmitter has activated, plus the vibration pattern is different for each transmitter. The pager comes with rechargeable batteries and its own charger, which makes it ideal for daytime alerting as it can be recharged overnight. It can be used for nighttime. However, the vibrating pad needs to be disconnected in the morning and then reconnected to ensure alerting through the night. My experience says This can be precarious because people can forget to reconnect the vibrating pad, so a person can be left vulnerable and at risk through the night. It is far more effective to use separate receivers for day and separate for night. The pager can alert up to 6 transmitter activations. The clock and portable receiver, however, can alert up to 8. Each transmitter is individually programmed to the corresponding icon on the receiver, which means only that icon will illuminate on activation. This eliminates any possible interference from other transmitters in the system. If you feel such a system would work for you, please do contact White Sense on 240222. All equipment is provided without charge once a qualifying assessment has been done.
Befriending case study read by Elaine. Chats with Helen are the highlights of the week, talking for ages and putting things into perspective. This was what Margaret, service user, has said for the Sight for White befriending project. Our service offers one-to-one telephone befriending, and Elaine, our manager, matches a volunteer befriender with people who have a visual impairment to offer companionship to combat isolation and loneliness. The project currently has more than 12 befriender volunteers giving their time to help others. The right timing is crucial. Margaret was referred to the befriending service by the ECLO at St Mary's Hospital. In her late 70s, she was living with depression. She also suffered from chronic lower back and leg pain, and her mobility limitations reduced her engagement with the outside world. This isolation resulted in Margaret having very low moods and a bleak outlook on life. COVID and lockdown increased those factors considerably, severely affecting her well-being. As restrictions eased, Margaret was matched with Helen, a new volunteer befriender. Since that moment, a wonderful friendship has blossomed. They have established a very close bond, which both are benefiting from. Elaine, befriending manager.
Karen Chessel. The majority of people I visit with deafblindness are in the older age bracket with age-related sight and hearing loss. Many people have lived longer with one sense, so may be deaf with failing sight or blind with a little bit of hearing loss. However, although each loss can have difficulties of their own, a combined loss of sight and hearing can bring their own complications. White Sense is able to loan equipment that is helpful for people with a dual sensory loss. Once an assessment has been carried out and criteria has been established. This includes items such as white canes with stripes, liquid level indicators, smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms with vibrating pad. If you have a dual sensory loss and would like an assessment, please do not hesitate to contact White Sense. It is not invasive and we are here to help you in your daily life by chatting through how we can do that. If you have previously had an assessment because of difficulties with one sense and are now experiencing the loss of another sense, please contact us so that we can carry out a new visit for you. Karen, deafblind assessor.
Cancer care for everyone. The What I'd Like to Say project started in 2021 with an aim to make cancer services better for people living with a disability and neurodivergence. They talk to people in groups like ours, such as Autism Hampshire and Dorset Blind Association, to learn about their experiences with cancer services. What they found out was people felt misunderstood and not listened to. Some people found it hard to get the help they needed. Many people felt alone and wanted more support. What's happening now? Macmillan Cancer Support and Help and Care started Phase 2 of What I'd Like to Say project in January 2024. In Phase 2, they will talk about how to make cancer services better for people. This includes helping local cancer services improve and creating training for cancer service workers. Get involved. They're inviting you to share your experiences and ideas to improve cancer services for people living with sight and hearing loss here on the Isle of Wight. You can either join us in a 2-hour workshop at Millbrook House, date to be arranged, or take part in a phone interview or Zoom call if you can't come to the workshop. If you have questions or want to join, please contact Neil, who is leading the project, on neil.bolton-heaton@helpandcare.org.uk, phone number 07970166645, or contact us here and speak to Lisa or Susan on 522205. Your help on this to help others in the future will be very much appreciated.
Hello, this is Lisa reading the FIT FYT bus article. FYT bus is a friendly local service getting you from where you want to be in Freshwater, Yarmouth and Totland. It provides 3 routes for residents and meets up with ferries and Southern Vectors buses for onward travel. Route A, Yarmouth to Freshwater Bay. Weekday mornings, call 07909863973. That is 07909863973 for help with this route. Route B, Freshwater to Totland Bay, Colwell Bay, Norton Green and Freshwater. Weekday mornings, please call 07553 199061. That is 07553 199061 for help with this route. Route E, Yarmouth, Freshwater, Freshwater Bay, Totland and Allen Bay. This is a brand new flexible bookable service. You can book via the app, which is called FYT and SCIA. That is Foxtrot Yankee Tango and Sierra Charlie India Alpha. And enter your pickup point with your destination anywhere along the route. The app will tell you when the bus will arrive at your location. Please call Isle of Wight 01983 752917. You can also join the twice-a-week Saturday shopping trip to Newport, return £6.50, and to Waitrose in East Cowes, return £7. You will be picked up from your door and dropped back home with your shopping. Please call Isle of Wight 752197. The bus, however, also provides door-to-door transport service for medical appointments to residents of West Wight. In addition to the minibus, we have a wheelchair-accessible car, which is fitted with a ramp and provides space for a seated wheelchair passenger and up to 3 carers. We can take you to outpatients at St Mary's or to the dentist, opticians or other medical appointments. As of the 1st of April, the cost for return trips to St Mary's is £20, for Brookside or other West Wight appointments is £10. To request transport, please email info@fytbus.org.uk. That is info@fytbus.org.uk or telephone 752917. Please give 2 working days' notice. Please note, this is not a taxi service, and so They can help as the greatest number of people possible. You may have other passengers in the vehicle with you, and you may arrive at the hospital earlier than your appointment time. You may also have to wait for a return transport if another person's appointment finishes later than yours. However, when this happens, the cost of the round trip will be shared between passengers. They will do their best to help, but cannot guarantee that they will be able to help every time.
Meet Volunteer Francis. Read by Francis Newnham.
I was born in East London, within the sound of Bow Bells, thus able to claim to being a genuine Cockney. Both my mum and dad were one of 7 siblings, so I arrived to join a large and welcoming family. We stayed in London until I was 10, but mum and dad ensured that we had regular access to more rural environments, visiting Hampstead Heath regularly, spending holidays in a woodland camp near Guildford and the Isle of Wight. We also walked along the South Bank regularly, wandered around the City of London looking at the beautiful architecture before the arrival of skyscrapers, and visiting various historical sites such as the monument in Pudding Lane. I went to my first demonstration at the age of 2 in a pushchair with my dad, who was always politically active. It was the CND march. I have continued to do so all my life. It was a very happy childhood. I was a sickly child, developing pneumonia at the age of 3 and suffering from asthma for many years after. I also wore spectacles from the age of 2 as I had a slight squint in my left eye and spent many hours at Moorfields Eye Hospital until the muscle in that eye was shortened. As a result of the asthma, I missed a lot of school, but luckily I could read before I started. So began my devotion to reading, which opened up the world to me and provided companionship. Eventually, doctors advised my parents to move me out of London, where the air quality was so poor. My father obtained a teaching post on the Isle of Wight, and we moved. The only downside to this was that we lost regular contact with our huge family, many of whom I do not know. When I started school on the island, other children used to laugh at the way I spoke, so I quickly learned to speak the Queen's English. The only disadvantage was that my own children, when they arrived, accused me of being posh. The Isle of Wight was a paradise for children who had grown up in a city. My sister and I soon took advantage of it, although I never got used to swimming in the sea, having learnt to swim in a swimming pool. My teenage years on the island were eventful. By then I had 2 younger brothers and was able to get away with all sorts of mischief which my parents never knew about. There was a good music scene on the island. I saw the Rolling Stones at the Pavilion on Ryde Esplanade, the Who at Ventnor Winter Gardens, and various bands at the Seagull at the end of Ryde Pier. I also went to the early festivals at Wootton and Afton. I always worked at weekends and during school holidays in order to pay for these entertainments, in cafes and shops, and at one point managing the Rock Shop in Ryde. When I left school at 18, I was desperate to get back to London, so I chose to go to college there and stayed for several years, sharing accommodation with new friends. It was an exciting time, but eventually I had to find a proper job and worked for IBM for 3 years. I then went back to education and trained to teach in further education, first in Cosham and then at the Isle of Wight College for several years. I also worked at Parkhurst Prison when it was a Cat A prison, in charge of the education, and moved on to Camp Hill. This was a fascinating experience. My final employment was with the probation service on the island. My first big trip at 18 was a real adventure. I had applied with a friend to attend an international voluntary work camp in Tunisia, but had no money to get there. We decided to hitchhike. we travelled through France and Spain into Morocco and turned left to hitchhike across North Africa. It was an interesting experience, but I am horrified now that we decided to do it. Luckily, we'd survived unscathed. The only sensible thing we had done was to book a flight back to England. As an adult, I have been able to travel extensively. I have been to Rome and Paris several times and gradually developed an interest in archaeology. Many of my trips have been tours visiting archaeological sites. I've been to Cuba, India, Turkey, Italy, Sicily, Crete, Cyprus, Greece, Rhodes, Jordan, Norway, Iceland, China, and Egypt. The only place I visited which did not impress me was the United States. Unfortunately, I am no longer able to travel alone, but hopefully that will change. I have been a volunteer with Sight for Wight for several years. My interest was sparked by my own experience of having sight issues as a child and the difficulties that my 95-year-old aunt has with her sight, which has always been poor and which now has deteriorated to the extent that she cannot read. However, she really enjoys her Audible books. I also have a friend who has macular degeneration, which she manages well. I read to the Mix and Mingle group regularly and enjoy the humour and positivity of the group. I also take part in recording articles from the Isle of Wight County Press for distribution to members. On several occasions, I have helped at various festivals to raise funds for the charity and have enjoyed those experiences. I have always felt welcomed and appreciated by Sight for Wight's staff and members and wish them all good fortune for the future.
This is Lisa reading Voting This May. All voters have a right to vote independently and in secret. Local authorities have to ensure polling stations are accessible to people with sight loss. In order to vote in an election, you must first be registered to vote. If you've never registered, have recently moved or changed your name, you can register to vote online at gov.uk/register-to-vote. That's gov.uk/register-to-vote, or by requesting a paper form from the Isle of Wight Council on 823380. As a result of the Elections Act 2022, voters will be required to bring photo ID to polling station in order to vote for some elections. This includes the local, mayoral and police and crime commissioner elections, which are next due on the 2nd of May. Photo ID includes passport, driving licence, blue badge and a concessionary bus pass providing it has your photo on it. For voters who don't have a photo ID, there are currently two options. You can either apply for a free voter ID certificate known as the Voter Authority Certificate. You can apply at any time. They are not specific to any election and they do not technically expire. You will need to supply your name, address, date of birth and national insurance number. Or secondly, you can apply for a postal vote where a photo ID is not required. But for the May election, the following deadlines apply. The deadline to apply for a voter authority certificate for the May local elections in England is 5 p.m. on Wednesday the 24th of April. The deadline to apply for the postal vote for the May elections in England is 5 p.m. on Wednesday the 17th of April. Following the Elections Act 2022, returning officers, officials who oversee the elections, are now required to make provisions for disabled people to enable independent and secret voting. Returning officers must show Electoral Commission accessibility guidance. To support blind and partially sighted people, all polling stations are required to have a tactile voting device, a large print copy of the ballot paper for reference, additional lighting, and assistance from polling station staff to be guided to the voting booth and to mark the vote if you require it. Returning officers are also required to anticipate what is needed in their area and can provide additional equipment such as audio devices to enable someone to vote independently and in secret. Guidance has been issued to all polling station staff to make it clear that mobile phone apps such as Seeing AI, which use artificial intelligence to read out printed text, or video magnifying devices can be used by blind and partially sighted people to vote as a reasonable adjustment. We would encourage you to contact the Isle of Wight Council to notify them that you require reasonable adjustments in order to vote independently by calling 823380. If we can help, please do not hesitate to get in touch.
Education update. Since the last education update, we have been to Gatton and Lake Primary School to their Year 3 and Year 6 classes. We've also been to Nettleston Primary to their Year 1 class. We've had some feedback from our sessions at Gatton and Lake Primary after our visit, which was, the Year 3s had a great morning with you. Thank you so much. They all really enjoyed the activities you prepared. Also from Nettlestone Primary after our visit, which was, the session was amazing. Thank you very much. It was the perfect introduction to our next science topic. The activities were varied and the children were engrossed. They enjoyed it so much that many were still talking about it the next day. Thank you again. The next schools booked are Broadley Primary to deliver to their whole school. This will be the second time we have been invited. We're also booked to go to Wootton Primary to their Year 2 and Year 5 classes, again for a second time. A big thank you as always goes to the wonderful volunteers who helped me in the schools. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without their time or support. If you wish to volunteer for the programme, please do not hesitate to contact me. Finally, we are asking each child to take part in our Hat and Sunglasses Day on Thursday 20th of June. One of our core aims is to work to prevent avoidable sight loss. With 48% of sight loss being just that, avoidable, our Hat and Sunglasses Day educates children on the importance of protecting their eyes from harmful UV rays, which, in later life, causes cataracts and macular degeneration. Along with a video we will produce to share the importance of keeping your eyes healthy, this year we are launching a competition asking children to design their own hat or sunglasses. The winner will be announced in the county press after some holidays and will receive a prize. These templates are available to download by visiting our website www.iwsb.org.uk/news/hat-sunglasses-day-2024 or contact inquiries at iwsb.org.uk. Our aim is to unite the Isle of Wight against avoidable sight loss and would very much appreciate your support to help us spread the message. The new video will be available on our YouTube page by the 18th of June. Jasmine. Finally, we are asking each child to take part in our Hat and Sunglasses Day on Thursday 20th of June. One of our core aims is to work to prevent avoidable sight loss. With 48% of sight loss being just that, avoidable, our Hat and Sunglasses Day educates children on the importance of protecting their eyes from harmful UV rays, which, in later life, causes cataracts and macular degeneration. Along with a video we will produce to share the importance of keeping your eyes healthy, this year we are launching a competition asking children to design their own hat or sunglasses. The winner will be announced in the county press after some holidays and will receive a prize. These templates are available to download by visiting our website www.iwsb.org.uk/news/hat-sunglasses-day-2024 or contact inquiries at iwsb.org.uk. Our aim is to unite the Isle of Wight against avoidable sight loss and would very much appreciate your support to help us spread the message. The new video will be available on our YouTube page by the 18th of June. Jasmine.
Member support. Carrying on from my previous article regarding Alexa, I wanted to share with you details of the British Wireless for the Blind Fund. This is a fantastic service for those that do not have internet or do not wish to have a smart speaker such as Alexa, but would like a more traditional way of listening to the radio or CDs. British Wireless for the Blind Fund provides comfort and companionship for people living with sight loss across the UK via the joy of radio. We give radios and other devices for free and for life to people who might otherwise struggle to afford them. To receive a free device, the recipient must meet the following criteria. 1. Resident in the UK. Secondly, registered or registrable severely sight impaired or sight impaired. Be over the age of 8. And lastly, receive personal independent disability living allowance, attendance allowance, or receives a means-tested benefit. Listening to the radio gives us access to news, both locally and nationally. Radio channels such as Channel 4 and RNIB Radio Connect regularly play audiobooks. And you can access details on the weather and, of course, listen to your favourite music. If you would like any further information on this service, please do not hesitate to get in contact. Karen, Vision Assessor.
Following up. As part of my role working alongside White Sense, I carry out 3-month review surveys. These are mainly done over the phone or through your preferred method of contact. A 3-month review is offered after you have had a White Sense assessment. These reviews are only 7 questions, but are very important so we can review how well the service is meeting people's needs. Most people are very happy to complete the short survey with me. Below are some recent quotes. The service is absolutely amazing. Pete is superb, as was Karen. I feel so much more confident as it has made such a difference moving here from the mainland. I'm getting so much more support. Everything from that assessment has really helped me. I'm very happy. It's a fantastic service, so helpful. The service you offer is outstanding. Every person I speak to or have seen is delightful. It's a lovely service you offer. That lamp is amazing that Karen gave me. It's made such a difference to me. I can now move around the house so much more at night now. I enjoy doing these as feedback. It's so lovely to hear. Sometimes it's the little things that can have the biggest impact on someone's life, and the fact that we visit them at home works really well.
Spotlight on Brett, read by Chris. I was born in Camberley, Surrey in 1965. I started school in 1969 and lived on a housing estate which had advantages as everything was in close proximity, including school and shops. In 1982, I enrolled in a youth opportunities programme studying painting and decorating, which gave me the opportunity to paint local community buildings, including Farnham Castle. I did this for a year and moved on to Guildford Tech for a while, again learning painting and decorating skills, but I couldn't get on with this, so instead took a job at the Military Academy in Sandhurst in the quartermaster stores, working in the clothing section, which involved issuing kits to potential recruits and de-kits to the passing out officers prior to their postings. This I did for 5 years. I was then offered a job as a warehouse manager for Sainsbury's home base. It was around this time that I met my future wife Claire. We got married in 1993 and had our first daughter Ellen in 1995. After Sainsbury's, I took a job as a milkman because the hours suited family life but obviously meant getting up very early. In 2002, our second daughter Nadine was born, and 3 years after that we moved to the Isle of Wight, where I managed to secure a job working for David's, which was a convenience chain, now the Co-op. In 2011, I developed double vision whilst at work. I was sent to a hospital where it was discovered I'd had a stroke resulting in optical nerve damage. I have no perception of depth or distance. As a result of this, I was registered blind the same year. I became a member at Sight for Wight, which was then known as Isle of Wight Society for the Blind, joining their handicraft group, which helped me gain my confidence back. I also started volunteering at St Mary's Hospital as a ward helper, as I wanted to keep myself busy and maintain my work ethic. In 2017, I was lucky enough to be allocated a wonderful guide dog called Stevie, who was with me until he was sadly withdrawn in 2022 due to ill health, and now living on the mainland. I fundraise for guide dogs, which keeps me very busy and something I find very rewarding. I have always kept my connection with Sight for White and enjoy the weekly talking news, getting out and about every month with the Striders group, partaking in coffee mornings every Wednesday, and had a great time representing Sight for White at the Newport Carnival a couple of years ago. I also enjoy football and am an avid supporter of Aldershot Football Club and still follow them to this day. The last 2 seasons I've been a fan of Southampton FC and get over to St Mary's Stadium when I can. I also enjoy island theatre visits and also trips to the Mayflower, Southampton, especially when audio descriptions are available. Music-wise, I like ska, rocksteady and reggae. Madness has been my top band since 1979. I've currently enrolled in a cookery course at the Apex Church in Cowes. It's called Cooking on a Budget and run by Abby, Kay, Debbie and John, which I'm really enjoying. Since losing Stevie, my guide dog, I like to challenge myself and keep busy. Brett Lamplow in conversation with Chris Kane. Access card. This card acts as a photo ID that can be used to easily communicate your access requirements to events and venues so that the venues can provide the right accessibility. It also works online with other platforms like ticketing systems to unlock the access facilities you need. It uses symbols to highlight barriers you face and the reasonable adjustments you may need. In addition to translating your needs into symbols, the access card serves as a recognised proof of your requirements, eliminating the need for repeated explanations at different venues. This recognition is crucial in building a more inclusive environment, as it encourages venues and service providers to be proactive in their accessibility. To apply, call 0330 808 5108 or go to www.disabilitydirect.com. When applying, it is a process, and if you need help in this, please contact White Sense and they will be able to offer you individual help. Remember, when completing the form, it is about how you are able to cope in an unfamiliar environment, not when you're at home or on a familiar route. You will need to provide certain evidence to gain some of the symbols, but once you renew, it is just confirming nothing has changed. The card costs £15 and lasts 3 years and is already accepted at over 2,000 venues, for example, Alton Towers, Glastonbury Festival, O2 Arena and West End Theatres, to name a few. Here are some symbols, what they mean and a little explanation behind them. Visual information. For people who find accessing visual information a barrier. This may include people with visual impairments who require alternative formats or guidance. Assistance dogs. Assistance dog symbol is awarded once we receive official documentation stating the dog has gone through training to be able to support you at events and venues, other unusual environments, circumstances. This is unlikely to include emotional support animals. Audible information. For people who have difficulty accessing or processing audible information. It may be relevant to deaf people or those with hearing impairments. Essential companions. This symbol is awarded to people for whom it would be significantly difficult to access services without support from another person. You must be able to show that the support you need is substantial, significant, or frequent and directly related to your needs as a disabled person, and that without extra support you would receive a lesser service.
For people who find standing and or queuing a substantial barrier to accessing services. This may well include people who are physically cannot stand or queue for any significant amount of time, or people that have an issue with understanding the concept of queuing. Level access. For people who require wheelchair accessible facilities or have to have level access as they are unable to make even a few steps. Less than 50 metres distance. For people who require wheelchair accessible facilities or have to have level access as they are unable to make even a few steps. WC, urgent toilet needs. All access card holders have access to accessible toilets. For people with continence issues, we have the WC symbol. Providers on board are made aware that this means urgent access to any toilet without question. Miscellaneous. This category is for everything else. This symbol will trigger a provider to ask for specific information from you about how you will access their service. For example, photosensitive epilepsy.
Other cards. In the UK, while there is no universal disability ID card, several types of cards are recognised as proof of disability. These include the White Sense Sensory Service Card, Access Card, Blue Badge and National Bus Pass. This article covers several types of cards available to people living with sense loss and how they work, including local and national. White Sense Paris registration cards. For anyone who is registered as blind, severely sight impaired, partially sighted, sight impaired, or deaf-blind, White Sense will issue you with a registration card confirming your registration date, number and class. This is your legal proof you are registered and should be accepted anywhere as just that, proof. We will be issuing a new style of card from the 1st of April, and we will be running a new island-wide campaign reminding everyone what the card means. The new type is a hard credit card style, and if you would like a new version card, please do let us know so we can replace your older laminated one. They host a distinguishing tactile mark.
English National Concessionary Travel Scheme Bus Pass. This scheme enables eligible residents of the Isle of Wight to travel on local buses during off-peak times, anywhere in England and at times as on the island. You can download the form from the Isle of Wight Council website or contact White Sense to help you complete it. There are 8 eligible automatic entitlement categories, including Category A is blind or partially sighted, Category B is profoundly or severely deaf. Please note, these cards are not valid on the Island Breezer tourist buses, but are valid on the Ride Island Line train.
Islander card. In addition to the English National Concessionary Travel Scheme, the Isle of Wight Council offers the Islander card, local concession to residents who have a severe and enduring mental health problem and residents who could not use bus services without the assistance of a travelling companion. To apply for this concession, please request an application form from the Transport Service, transport.info@iow.gov.uk, visit County Hall or contact White Sense. You will need a recent full colour passport, proof of address and evidence as detailed below. Gold Card has a severe and enduring mental health problem, with the evidence being a signed letter on headed paper from an Isle of Wight mental health service confirming the statement above. Silver Card cannot access public transport without the assistance of a travelling companion, the evidence being, again, a signed statement.
Venue-specific cards. Venues and other companies have their own schemes. For example, the Mayflower Theatre has their own card which can be applied for and gives the recipient a half-price carer ticket. Nationally, there is a cinema scheme called CEA, with 90% of cinemas in the UK taking part, allowing a free carer ticket if you are eligible. To apply, the person requiring assistance must be 5 years of age or older and be in receipt of one of the following: disability living allowance, attendance allowance, personal independence payment, adult child disability payment, armed forces independence payment, or hold severely sight impaired registration, sight impaired registration. Finally, there is another scheme called the UK Disability Identification Card, but, to be clear, it is not a legal card. It has been developed to give a simple card confirming you are disabled. There is no legal requirement for it to be accepted.
Other cards. The definition of disability under the Equality Act 2010 in the UK is a physical or mental condition that has a substantial and long-term negative effect on your ability to do normal daily activities. This broad definition encompasses a wide range of conditions and emphasises the impact on daily living rather than the condition itself. On a personal note, I do not like such general categorisations, and whilst I would argue I can still do normal things, the reality is my sight and hearing do have a negative impact, usually in the form of things taking much longer. So, these cards are available from www.cardproject.uk or by calling 01900 876 603 and, importantly, have your photo to ensure they are used appropriately with the strapline "The holder of this card is disabled. Please afford the bearer such assistance as may be necessary." This leaves the blue badge, which we have covered in detail before. If you need help applying, please contact Karen on 240 222. If you need any help applying for any of these cards, please do get in touch and we can assist you on an individual basis. Some of the application processes are not very accessible, the irony, but we can offer as much or as little help that you need. Lisa, CEO.
This is Lisa reading Working with Others. As CEO, part of my role is to lobby for the needs of our members in the community, and this is partly achieved by having meetings with other organisations and sitting on other boards. Here is what I do. Accessible Island, charged with looking at promoting employment for those living with disabilities. Age Friendly Island, charged with bringing IT to the island's older population. Ophthalmology First, charged with implementing the new eye care pathway. This has started with cataracts, whereby all pre and post care is now at your local optician, with the only time you visit St Mary's being for the actual operation. National Lottery Voluntary Community Sector, Financial Resilience, giving first-hand input into how fundraising has changed post-COVID. Hampshire and Isle of Wight VI Group, formed in 2022, it incorporates all sight loss charities active in Hampshire and the island. Hampshire and the Isle of Wight Voices, this opportunity for us to put our views on NH services directly to the NHS and be heard. Offer Travel User Group, I am a secret shopper, and report back quarterly with ideas on issues. Isle of Wight Health and Care Partnership. This gives us a voice to the highest level on the ICB, Integrated Care Board. National Institute for Health and Care Research. We input into each project each year. Raising Voices in Research. We have a completed Phase 1 and 2 of the project, with Phase 3 hopefully coming in 2025. Solent Micromobility. This group is to give insight from both sides on electric bikes and scooters. RNIB and Visionary Campaigns. To give knowledge and support to smaller charities like us to help with local campaigning and equally to ensure local voices are heard nationally. The Future of Our Rovies. This board is to pool knowledge on how to make the current lack of Rovies crisis. These boards all give the chance to promote the reality of living with sight loss, getting our needs to the forefront of other people's agendas. This is Lisa reading Fire Risk at Home Research. We have been asked to pool opinions on what are the safety risks that concern you, what can be improved with the fire service, and where should we put our resources. They would like to run a 1-hour workshop where they can hear directly from members, facilitated by a small team including local firefighters and officers who will be able to answer your questions. As an incentive, they can refer people for smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors to be fitted free in your homes, as well as providing safety advice on an individual basis. Please contact Susan if you would like to attend.
Our 100 Club. Did you know we have our own 100 Club? This is our own lottery, but restricted to 100 members. Each month, entrants pay £2 for a number, with a 40% prize money distributed as a single prize, and the remaining 60% going directly to support our services. This quarter's winners are Peter, Alex and John. Congratulations. A very warm welcome to Doris, Chris, Carol, Mary, John, Miriam, Jenny, and welcome back, Pam. If you'd like to join the Sight for White 100 Club, it is just £2 a month. You can pay annually or by standing order each month.
White Sense in the press. The RNIB wrote to every single council in England, and using what is called a Freedom of Information request, they gained real insight into how every sensory service is performing in their statutory responsibility to provide sight loss rehabilitation services. Here at White Sense, we were one of 6 services to be meeting every deadline set, contacting new clients within 3 days and assessing their needs within 28.
We have just completed our Easter knitting campaign, and wow, what a response we had with finding new knitters and, of course, our loyal band of existing knitters. All came up trumps with hundreds of knitted covers. This year we knitted and sold over 750 Easter chicks across the island, and we wish to thank the following for supporting us this year: the Sloop Inn Wootton, Bryston Village Stores, Forest View Nurseries, Hover Travel, and our many supporters who purchased these items throughout March. We even put them on the hovercraft for a ride. We were chosen by Shalfleet Primary School as their Dash in the Dark charity. Lisa and Chris went to the school before the event and spoke to the Year 4 children about what it is like to live with sight loss. Wow, what a response. That evening, the children ran a 2.5-kilometre circuit in the dark. We were so inspired as they managed to raise a whopping £950. A huge thank you.
Charity of the Year. We are very excited to report that one of our volunteers, Yvonne, and members, Sheila, have proposed and confirmed Sight for White as the Sandown Afternoon Towns Women's Guild Charity of the Year for this April to next March. Thank you, Yvonne and Sheila, for the nomination.
We have several fundraising events coming up over the next few months, so please look out for us and say hello. We were at the Vintage Classic show on April the 14th at the Island Riding Centre. The Isle of Wight Vintage Motorcycle Club has nominated us as their charity, so we were there collecting and raising awareness. Thank you to everyone at the club for supporting us.
Our next bucket collection is on Friday, April the 26th at Asda Newport between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. We will, once again, have a stand in the foyer promoting awareness of the charity and funds too.
May the 4th, we will be running the Chillerton Village Market at Chillerton Village Hall, starting at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Come along and have some delicious homemade cake, buy some raffle tickets and chat with others. Last year this event was very well attended, so please come along and support us. We would welcome any donations of raffle prizes, items to sell or homemade cakes.
I love the spring. The days start getting longer and we all feel a little bit happier and brighter. At Dress for Less we start to receive more colourful clothing, wonderful dresses and jackets ready for special events in the months ahead. We have already started to help ladies to find outfits for weddings, cruises and even a visit to Buckingham Palace. We have a wonderful variety of hats and accessories to provide the perfect finishing touch. Of course, we not only stock occasion wear, but we also have a wide range of fantastic items for your everyday wardrobe at bargain prices. Spring also is the start of new things, and I'm delighted to tell you that Dress for Less has now launched an online shop. We love to see you in our shop, but if you're unable to visit us in person, we will now have the opportunity to peruse and shop online. We will continue to offer beautiful pre-loved clothes, shoes, bags and accessories at a fraction of their original high street cost, all delivered to your home. To visit our new website, please go to www.dressforless.agency. Debbie.
Our year to March 2024. I thought we could end our financial year with some quiz questions on our charity. Question 1. How many members of Sight for White are there? Question 2. How many new clients came into White Sense this year? Question 3. How many newsletters are read each quarter, including online, in print and through our Hello Everyone QR code. Question 4. How many active volunteers are we lucky enough to have? Question 5. How many volunteer hours were completed in the year? Question 6. If we had to pay the volunteers for the work they do, how much would this cost? Question 7. How many hours of Talking News were produced this year? Question 8. How many audio books does the library have? Question 9. How much did the sales of our knitted chicks and Christmas covers raise this year? Question 10. Including all interactions, e.g. the newsletter, on average, how many people did we interact with per week in December 2023? Question 11. How many hours per month do befriending volunteers chat? Question 12. How many phone calls did we receive in the year? Question 13. How many miles has the blue car travelled this year, visiting White Sense clients and collecting members for activities? Question 14. How many attendees were there at Sight for White activities? Question 15. In the quarter to the 30th of June 2023, how many people attended Sight for White talks given by Lisa, Sue and Ruth? Question 16. How many children have joined in with the education programme this year? Question 17. How many people follow our Dress for Less Facebook page? Question 18. How many Facebook posts did Sight for White make? Question 19. How many rooms are there in Millbrook House? Question 20. How old will Chris be on his next birthday? And now the answers. Question 1. 732 people. Question 2. 999 people. Question 3. 950 readers. Question 4. 114 volunteers. Question 5. 10,416 hours. Question 6. It would have cost £116,321. Question 7. 170 hours. Question 8. 1,400 audiobooks. Question 9. £2,178 raised. Question 10. 544 interactions per week. Question 11. 70 hours. Question 12. 3,062 phone calls. Question 13. 5,028 miles. Question 14. 1,786 attendees in the year. Question 15. 300 people. Question 16. 830 primary school children. Question 17. 1,678 followers. Question 18. 500 posts. Question 19. 21. Honestly, count them. And question 20. You'll have to ask him yourself.
Contact details. Sight for White. Telephone 01983 52205. Email inquiries@iwsb.org.uk. Website sightforwhite.org.uk. White Sense. Telephone 01983 240 222. Email info@whitesense.org.uk. Web, whitesense.org.uk. Opening hours Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Dress for Less. Telephone 01983 523 197. Email retail@iwsb.org.uk. Address 57 Pyle Street, Newport, Isle of Wight, PO30 1UL. Newsletter available in the following formats: Alexa, USB, Braille.